Hi, welcome to the Alameda Backyard Growers Alameda Fruit Gleaning Initiative Initial Safety Training. Here we are going to talk about how to get fruit to people in a manner that is both safe for us and safe for the tree. We're going to be using ladders as we harvest the tree, and we're also going to be using fruit pickers, so we're going to talk about how to safely use both of those pieces of equipment. Now, before we actually get up in the tree, I want to talk about some basic tips. You want to wear low-heeled, rubber-soled shoes for climbing up a ladder. You do not want to be wearing anything like flip-flops when you're in a ladder, or obviously high heels. And you also want to wear long sleeves. If you're going to be in a lemon tree, which has got a lot of thorns on it, you want to cover your arms. You also want glasses, some kind of glasses, either sunglasses or prescription glasses to keep any thorns out of your eyes. We're going to be using these. These are called fruit tree ladders, and what they are is 3-point ladders. So it's got this one point that will actually slide into the tree in between the branches. And then it's got a really wide base to give us a lot of support. You're always going to want your ladder to be well supported. You're also never, ever, ever going to want to climb above this bright red step. Positioning a ladder like this, a tripod ladder like this, when you are going on a slope, we don't have a lot of slopes here in Alameda, but should you come across a slope, you want that single leg to be on the uphill side and the other two to be on the downhill side. Because it is a tripod, it's designed to be a lot more stable, but you still want to be careful with these back two legs so that they are positioned stably. You do not ever want to climb up a ladder that is not stable, that's wiggling. What the fruit picker has in their arsenal is the fruit picker, which is a little basket with foam at the bottom of it, and then it's also got these tines, so you're going to hook the tines around the fruit and pull gently so as not to take down the whole tree, and the fruit should fall off into the little basket. So when you're up on a ladder and you can't reach a piece of fruit, you're going to use a fruit picker. This fruit picker actually comes with an extension, which makes it twice as long. So you can have, this is a pretty good reach here. You can have really good reach with the extension. Okay, so if I am up here in the tree and I'm going to pick, reaching out about this far because my body is still solidly over the ladder. This is fine. Now, if I want to reach out to reach, let's say some of the apples over here, then I am going to rely upon my fruit picker, which is going to go out and do the job for me.
I was wondering how you can have a bucket up there or something to hold the fruit instead of getting up and down all the time. Is there a place to put the bucket?
So we are going to hang our buckets from this hook here. That will be on the front of each one of our ladders. So we'll actually hang the bucket up on here, and then when the person who is up on the ladder in the tree is finished, they will actually unhook the bucket and hand it down to the person who is on the ground, who will then take it down for them. So once we have our bucket full, we are going to take it down, and we are going to empty our fruit into a larger container on the ground. Now this is a container of potatoes because we haven't harvested the fruit yet. We're probably going to have smaller containers than this, but even a smaller container, you want to be really careful as you lift it. So you want to get as close as you can to the bucket, and you want to make sure that you lift with your legs and not with your back. So you do not want to do this and pull up. You actually want to pull up with your legs. So up like that. When you pick something like plums, as we said earlier, plums will sort of fall off the tree themselves. They're really, really ripe, and they'll just sort of fall off the tree. When you pick something like an apple, if you pull straight down, it's probably not going to come. Even if it's ripe, it's probably not going to come. What you need to do, and I'm actually thinning these apples because I have way too many on this branch. What you need to do with an apple is you need to pull up and twist it up. And you'll see there's a little joint right there. And you don't want to pull against the joint, you want to actually work with it and just loop it right off. So I'm going to pass this around and you guys can look. So again, you're going to pull up with the joint and it will come right off.
Great.
So with something like a lemon, you can pull it straight down. If the skin, if it's so ripe that the skin starts coming off and leaving a big hole, then I'm going to recommend that you just use your pruners and snip each lemon, because what we don't want to do is we do not want to have fruit that's going to rot really quickly. And if you have a big gap around the top of the fruit, it's gonna rot much more quickly. So apples, pears lift up. Figs. With a fig, we're probably not going to harvest a lot of figs, because figs ripen, in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That they actually ripen slowly over a very long period of time. So if we are asked to harvest fig trees, we probably are going to need to have access multiple times, because otherwise harvesting 30 or 40 figs on a large tree isn't going to really give us much. Not much is going to actually make it to the food bank. If you're going to harvest a fig, the way you harvest a fig is you put your thumb down at the base. You'll see this little stem that connects it with the main branch. You're going to put your thumb down at the base, and you're just going to peel it back off all the way down. And usually it'll be a little softer. It won't do quite as much damage to the tree as harvesting a completely unripe fig did. But you're just going to pull it off, and it will bleed a little bit. The end will bleed a little bit, but it will come off nicely.
Apple, pear up, fig to the side, lemon straight down, but maybe snip.
But maybe snip if they're really ripe.
And don't pull it off so there's no stem and it leaves a hole, because
Right.
it'll rot.
Then just snip.
Citrus fruit. How can you tell when they're ripe? When should you pick them?
They should be fully colored up, so a lemon should be really not slightly yellow, but really yellow. Limes sometimes will get almost yellowish when they're really ripe. Oranges will be fully orange. If there's any green left on the fruit, then if you don't have to pick it at that time, you should probably just leave it to save it for future picking.
A couple of times I was actually trying to use a picker to pick the fruit, and I felt that it was actually really hard to control, and I was concerned that I might have done some damage to the tree. So how do you make sure you don't damage the tree when you're using a tree picker?
I found that when I was just using the one length of that fruit picker without actually adding the extension, that it was really heavy. The picker itself was really heavy as I was using it fully extended. It might be better if I had actually put the extension on and held it closer to my body. But you can't get too far out, and I think that we need to let our bodies be our guides for when you are too far out, when you do not have enough control over the picker. And that when you find that that's happening, either you need to move a ladder into place, or you need to just leave some of the fruit up at the top of the tree. We're going to be asked to pick trees that we cannot pick safely. And as we said earlier, our own personal safety first, and the safety of the tree is the second important point. If we cannot get to the fruit, if we find that we are pulling on it and it's something like oranges or something like apples, we just saw that you pull apples up, but you can't really do that with a fruit picker. If you find that you're starting to break branches, then maybe we have to back away and stop.